So meet my son Surya. I'm the helper and the shooter, and he's the chief technician on this one. So what are we doing, Surya?
Just like Legos, listening to instructions and getting this drawer system put together. The pack that it came in is very organized, so luckily it's not that hard to figure out. They're all labeled, you know, this bag says bag over bag J, so you know, they have everything, you know, systematically and graphically, you know, listed out what to do, how to do it. So it should take some time, but we'll get it done.
What he said. What are we looking at now? The first thing they asked us to do was this.
So I'm assuming this is the base. It's we need to place hinges on the side over there. So we'll start following these instructions one by one, and eventually we'll start getting a better idea of what we're doing and how it's supposed to look.
So that's the image we're going to follow right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get to it. And yep, we got it open.
Did bend it.
So it comes with two long tubes, and I'm assuming the hinges are in here. Now they look like stands.
Ew.
Come on, genius. Let's do this without hurting yourself. Or breaking that thing.
Too late.
There's always the other side. And the second roll has the hinges. So all of these have grooves here, and if they don't fit, they won't fit, but if they do, you know they will, and this is perhaps how they want it to fit. These hinges, I take it, are the flaps for the side. So the D-ring install is quite intuitive actually. So this is like the base for it to hold the D-ring in place. So essentially what this is this D-ring goes in here, the holes line up, and allows for this ring to fall across like this. Of course, now we got to find the right screw, which is not really mentioned as succinctly as the rest of this hardware instructions are. So we've got to figure out which screws go where. If you see the D-ring base plate, this part, this is a smaller part and this is the longer part here. So the smaller part comes towards this little hook here for it to fit exactly how it's intended. If I flip this over, for example, if I flip this over and turn this around, where the shorter part and the longer part doesn't fit. So it's got to go back this way. Now it's snug.
So we are now installing these hinges by, you know, screwing in each screw one by one.
We've lined up the things that we are supposed to, like the D-rings and these washers over here that fit right perfectly in those grooves, and we're getting this all solidified now before we move on to the next picture. What we did was we flipped this. It's supposed to have been this on that side, that on this side. So we're undoing what we did, just half the hinge, so we can flip it back and make everything correct, because as per the drawing, this has to be in the deeper curve area, like this, but the other side. So we got phase one done. This looks like the base of the drawer system. This is the top of it with the D-rings all, you know, firmly in place, and these are the wings for the side storage. Now to go on and build the underneath with all of those struts or stands or whatever you call them, legs. And we're moving on to the next photograph now. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. So we're now assembling the sleeper panel, which then actually hinges over onto the main panel on there when the car is, well, in motion. And once we're ready to sleep, what this does is this panel that you see here is hinged to that corner there, right there, and then it just flips over onto the seat that's folded. Just the back of the middle row is folded, and this whole thing's a sleeping panel. Sleeps too. So what we're doing now is securing the two boards for the sleeping panel, and this becomes one piece. These, of course, are shoes, because when the sleeping panel opens out, then it rests on the seat in front, or the middle row seat. So that's where this would sort of block most of the hinge is in, and that leaves us with this part of the hinge. But what we found is of the 22 screws that we need to put this hinge in tight, they only supplied us with 18 more left, which means we have 4 short. So let's see. I will write to them and maybe they'll make good. I don't know, but they have sent us 4 short, and that's a bummer. Somebody's got to be counting this stuff before they send it, All right, let's get on with this and see how much more we can get done, and we'll worry about that a little later. So the next thing was to put the feet, the stands as they say, or the legs, and there are 9 of them. So once we got them all in, this is the last one. We won't put them fully tight yet because there's a lot more to do with this. These apparently sort of parts like this. It's the only thing I can think about because it's too short this way. So it seems like this is how it is, and this is where the drawer system comes in. Onwards and upwards. And then we try to get to this part. So we couldn't figure out how this horizontal piece attaches to the vertical piece, and there is no instructions on it at all. So we flipped the page and we looked at it visually, and we saw something like this over here, and that turned out to be bag E, and there is no mention of bag E anywhere that we should be using that. So guys, you may want to change this instruction a little bit and add bag E at this stage. So we have these little pieces, for lack of another word for it, and they go into the groove over here. And you see these grooves? And this is the thing that's not in the instruction, by the way, So I'm giving it to you now. Thank me later. So you put all of these screws back here. So there's 3 of them. So there's the 3rd one, and then you put this back here. Sit flush in there. Into this hole that's provided for. Yeah, so we got this one all sorted out. We're good to go, and now we're going to open up the drawer. These 2 boxes have the drawer system, or rather the actual drawers that will then slide into here somehow. We'll figure it out again. Not all instructions are perfect, but no one's perfect. Let's see if we can give you some good feedback. Air down, gear up, guys. Kyle, you're a man. Also, another feedback, guys, is this cover that was supplied. They should technically be like 6, but you gave us only 5, so this one is going to stay open. So it's been a few hours already before we got done to this stage, but I must tell you guys, air down, gear up, we're finding missing parts. So it'll be a great thing if you guys can actually count the stuff and send it to us, because now we're at a bad place, because now we're going to go find that at a hardware store. Maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't, but we shouldn't have had to do all of that. We'll make it work, but it could have been. And we open up the drawer system. the actual drawers that go into these sliders, these slots. I must say they're well packed for sure, almost assembled, but the harder part is to assemble the sliders on the sides. They have to be precision. So we flipped the base unit, that would be the sleeper on top with the D-rings exposed on top to tie down cargo if you need to, and this would be the drawer system that slides into those two slots. Now it's time to work on those. Surya, where do you want to start from? Instructions?
Instructions.
All right.